The loops I had to jump through to make this freaking video.
Bonjour.
Hello to all my girlies, gays, theys, and respectful heteros! Another year, another Pride Month, and this time with Tobias Felix Fate and Mr. Malcolm Graves. Now before we proceed to the video, I'd like to point out that half the proceeds this video is gonna make from ad revenues will go directly into my mom's organization. Mom and her team are physically providing on-ground help to Ukrainian civilians, volunteers, and the territorial defense. If you'd like to donate a small sum, it will help us a lot, so I'll leave a link to that up there and in the description down below. Thanks so much, and Slava Ukraini! So when it comes to the LGBTQA+, League of Legends doesn't really have much representation. There are plenty of reasons for that, starting with working in countries where basic human rights don't exist, and moving to an extremely toxic and homophobic community that they to this day are trying to fix. So the least they can do is have the narrative team get the green light to stop beating around the bush and giving us the representation we need through characters who have been already coded in the past. It's not an ideal situation, but they've been clearly making an effort, which is already a huge step into the right direction. So far, the confirmed characters we have are Nico, Rel, Talia, Valmer and Kai, Caitlyn and Vi, Diana and Leona, and now we've got Twisted Fate and Graves. There's also Echo and Ezreal, but we're still waiting for the official confirmation. Now, some were really happy about TF and Graves, and others not so much because they believed that Riot basically took two straight characters and made them gay for clout. But what they didn't know is that those two were meant to be together from the very beginning. Why? Because their creator said so. Previous Riot writer Runan came through after Riot released their Runeterra 2020 cinematic. She pointed out that Twisted Fate and Graves were always meant to be in a relationship, and in fact, they were even supposed to be married. But due to the dude bro apocalypse that was going on in Riot at the time, it was not an easy thing to pitch. In fact, one of her managers aggressively told her to shut up every time she pitched stuff about their dynamic. A dynamic that same manager took credit for around the time of the Bilgewater event. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I would like some names. So basically, Renan walked so 2022 Riot could run. And I'm glad that we've come to this point because our boys received the justice they rightfully deserved. With their whole partners in crime duo trope and raging sexual tension, it's about damn time. We've seen it in Burning Tides, we've seen it in Destiny and Fate, Double Cross, and now we've got it in The Boys in Bombolini, which I'll get to in a second because sweet Tommy Kenj did Jared go hard on this one. The first time we were introduced to TF and Graves was in Burning Tides, which was around the time where Graves got out of prison after sitting there for 10 years. Graves believed that TF screwed him over and left him behind to rot when in reality, TF and their crew basically told him not to do something really stupid that could get him into prison, but Graves decided to fuck around and find out. So Graves wanted to get back at TF, but even when it came to that, he couldn't do it. And what he didn't know was that TF actually did try to break him out several times, but failed. When TF tried to explain it to him and basically give him the entire breakdown, Graves just wouldn't listen and just kept talking over him because he was way too fucking emotional. He felt betrayed, he felt tired, and he was hurt, something TF could see in his eyes. Eventually, TF managed to explain everything. They realized that they both ended up risking each other's lives for one another and laughed at how stupid they both were for almost dying together. If you allow yourself to read their entire lore with an open mind, you'll see it. The way Graves finds TF beautiful, how TF calls him out on his bullshit and Graves listens and processes what he's been told, how he cares for TF and would risk his life for him, and same goes to TF. Tobias is the brain of the group and would always argue and make all the plans, but when it comes to Graves, he knows how to admit his own fault if shit really hits the fan. And this balance is what makes an actual strong relationship. Caring, fighting, compromising, arguing, it's all part of a healthy relationship and marriage. We see the same thing happening again in Destiny and Fate, and again in the Double Cross cinematic. But it's in the new short story where you finally get to see those specs that were always there come to life, because up until now, Graves and TF never had a time to just sit down and really talk things out. We get to see Tobias getting jealous, and Malcolm admitting that he's interested in Tobias. It's just extremely wholesome and heartwarming because the relationship is the realest and most honest one out of all the relationships that we've got in Runeterra. Yes, there are 𝙨 and 𝙨 and Senna and Lucian, but the relationships are so damn loaded and serious. Tobias and Malcolm's relationship, on the other hand, is a lot more relatable because it's playful, quirky, and fun. Like, I never thought that I'd relate to a big stinky pirate man that smashed every single thing he saw. A Northman, a trader with a roach tattoo, a Boru cultist, a whale guy, an octopus guy, another whale guy, a monk, a Vastaya, a Noxian. Papa Bear had no chill. And when I look at this list, I can't help but wonder if it has anything to do with the lines that Sentinel Graves has, because Jared wrote both this story and all of his lines. Like, he smashed a Vastaya, and now I can't help but think of the possibility that him and Rango smashed. Because we know that they have a history together, and Graves is pretty damn brave, so... Now there's another thing that we must point out, because just like there's many allies and supporters, there's also the non-respectful heteros that had to speak up about it. Which I assume is because majority of them have never been in an actual relationship, which explains the maidenless behavior, as well as the inability to understand what friendship, mutual trust, and chemistry is. And the fact that they also probably never found their own prostates or spoken to an actual gay man IRL, and you get a horde with unfixable ignorance who think that being a bigoted asshole is a personality trait. My suggestion to them is find your own prostate, because I'm sure that once they do, they'll finally calm down and mind their own fucking business. Now, some of you may ask, but Dinka, why do you need this? Why do you need all this representation? And the answer is very simple. Boosting positive portrayal or increased presence of our communities in media increases acceptance, support, and just simply normalizes us. It's critical because to this day, our community suffers from extreme discrimination, hate, brutal violence, and in some cases, even death. All which cannot be justified. No, not even by religion. Because just like you don't choose to gouge your own eyes for watching porn, give yourself 100 lashes for smashing, or stone yourself for gaming on Sabbath, you don't get to choose to hurt another human being or deny them basic human rights just because the way that they were born. You have the right for your opinions and beliefs, but denying a group of people basic human rights is not an opinion, and religion is not an excuse for bigotry. And if you're curious or have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask it away as long as it's not invasive and respectful. The diversity in Runeterra is really starting to pop off, and I'm extremely happy to see that. But obviously we still have a long way to go. So hopefully in the future we will receive more stories and more characters to cover more colors within our rainbow. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon or donation page. Thanks again for watching, happy Pride, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Bonjour.